We good?
I don't know.
We are live and we are joined by the one and only Mitchell Hooper, Auntie Liz, Uncle Loz here. I hope you guys had a great weekend. We have obviously had a fantastic weekend. Got back from Scotland yesterday. Had fun today. Managed a training session in. The champ just keeps training. He doesn't stop. We went and trained. It was fun. Nice.
It was good.
It wasn't about heavy stuff, was it? Just getting some blood around the body, but it was good.
Yeah, just move it. I love to train. And ever since Laws coached an athlete who's won quite a number of shows, you can see his head has grown extremely large.
Why is your head so big?
I am closer to the screen than you two. Normally, Liz is the same height as me when we sat next to each other.
No, I'm not.
And regular viewers of this. All right, I've just got a big head, okay? You know, I've coached someone to 8 international wins this year.
8 of 9.
Yeah, that's gonna swell the head.
The last 2 weeks, I had winner of the Rogue.
Yeah.
Last week, I had British Masters winner, World Disabled Strongest Man.
Yeah,
It's not been a bad week.
it's not been a bad week
And
at all.
I turned a pro, but we'll talk about that another day.
Yes, because that's
We're not. So I saw someone said, "Oh,
Leave
hope
the
Loz
arm
leaves the arm
wrestling
wrestling." I had no intention of talking about any arm wrestling, but
Liz and I have an equal interest in arm wrestling, and it could not be lower than 0.
No.
I got
so glad
asked
you're
if Mitch Hooper would turn up to an arm wrestling event. They were like, "Do you reckon you can get to
Well-
our event?" I said, "Nah."
Well, put it this way. I did message Neil because if it was something where there was a mutual vested interest, and I do have interest in people who pursue excellence in whatever they do, even if I'm not interested in the thing. So I would go under those circumstances. But to a local arm wrestling thing or watching it on YouTube or something, it's
I
tough.
didn't even go watch him. That's bad, isn't it?
No one
Well, my
came.
husband.
I was just on my own.
Loz puts on a match with Devin Lorette. He says, "Watch this."
And
I'm
we put it on
watching.
the TV,
Holy
yeah.
Christ. We're talking 5 minutes and not a single point was gained yet. It's all setting up. I have no idea how you enjoy it. So let's move on
Yes.
as quick as possible.
I was happy not to talk about it at all, but you
I know we brought it up.
Yeah. Anyway.
We have a new channel member, Simulate.
You got a members video to come out, haven't you?
Yes, I do. A very fun gym
Fun
session
gym
with
session.
me and Loz in Aberdeen. I know you'll all be riveted for that one. Mary saying another amazing show by Rogue. I hope they bring the women back again.
It was a good show, wasn't it? We all enjoyed it.
Yes.
I think it was really good for the people who watched it. I think it was great for the fans. There's some stuff that we spoke about around just the over professionalism.
Mhm.
But I suppose as the sport grows, it's stuff that we have to accept because anytime there's an inconsistency, it has something to do with the lack of professionalism.
Yeah.
So it becomes more professional and less fun, but I think we just have to take that.
Yeah, that will be fixed
Yeah.
afterwards. Where are we? Said it in person, Liz, and I'll say it again here. What you guys do is better than any media outfit right now in Strongman. Exceptional content and lovely people in real life.
Thank you so
We
much.
are lovely
Who-
in real life.
Who would be the media outlet in Strongman?
Us and you.
Yeah, what the hell?
We are better
Come
than
on,
you.
dude.
Come on, look, you might have a bigger following now, but we are better than you at the core.
Mitch is smarter. He
Mitch
kind of
is
engages
way
better.
smarter. He'll talk about guys punching little guys in gyms and
Goes
stuff
well.
like that.
It goes well.
It does go well. I can't lower myself. I'm sorry. Oh, where are we? Happy Monday. Mitch was Mitch. Mitch was Mitch. Mitch did Mitch things.
Mitch did. Yeah, Inez was awesome. She
Inez
really
is
did
great.
level up.
Yeah.
I was super impressed with Inez this weekend.
Yeah, like
Simple
that
effort.
potential has always been known, hasn't it? But that's the first time she managed to put together such a flawless performance, and she absolutely dominated
She
in the
did
end. She
indeed.
was great.
And granted, I don't know that much about the women, but I do know that Inez shoots herself in the foot with clumsiness.
She's
And
made a lot of mistakes in the past.
This show had so many things that you could have messed up and been clumsy on
Yeah,
that
yeah.
it really didn't suit her in that way.
Mhm.
So yeah, hats off to her.
Yeah.
And I was saying in that one show, I think she won more money cumulative. If you added up all of the money in Strongman ever given out in the history of the sport versus Inez's one win, I think Inez has more money than everyone else had if you added it all together.
If you had all the
in
first place
history.
prize money,
All prize
probably,
money.
yeah.
All prize money.
Who knows?
It's pretty crazy.
It is crazy.
It's damn close
It is
anyway.
yeah, definitely. Standout performance for me was Inez. Her Farmers Interlog and final event were glorious. Yeah, the mobs did a good job mobs. The Rogue had
Well,
mobs.
they
this
actually
year.
had
Okay.
Yeah,
some.
but in the live chat, which
Yeah.
is nice because sometimes it does get a bit silly, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it was good. It was the right call. It was good to see.
Yeah. Protects the athletes at the end of the day,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Hoping Loz leaves arm wrestling to the
Chris
end of the
Cleet
stream.
is in the chat. Good to see you, Chris. Hope you're well, buddy.
Evening, yo. Congrats to Mitch on another win and a great show. Interesting how big production shows have had road bumps like not hearing start times and an oddly implemented buzzer. Time to left. Yeah, the timing thing with Rogue is a bit odd, isn't it? Stand by.
30 seconds.
10 seconds.
I really don't mind it. I don't mind that standardization. The thing with Tom and Mel was strange because I heard some people saying that it was never said. But were you with me at the time? Because we were all looking at each other wondering, like, are they going to go?
Why aren't they going?
I was actually saying it must be delayed on the screen because we heard it all.
We were watching it on a screen backstage, so we could hear the klaxon go, but we saw them not move. But I think it went earlier than expected.
Yeah, they didn't have a full minute out there,
No.
but I certainly heard every prompt. It was correctly rectified,
adjusted.
Thankfully.
Yeah, definitely.
That was the only strange bit.
Odd, I think. Yeah, but thankfully, and it was described in the rules meeting that they do get to have 2 challenges each, but you can only challenge yourself. Like, you can challenge what's happened to you or a ruling on you. You can't, like, if I'm Tom, I can't challenge Mitch's performance and say, no, he's a cheat and get.
It's interesting seeing like a lot of people talking about the buzzer because I didn't see any athletes that were bothered about it at all. And I think as an athlete, you really have to be adaptable. It's key to winning competitions. It's not always, and I'm sure Mitch will take this the right way because he is extremely strong, but it's not always the strongest guy that wins in any sport. You know, you can look at lots of sports. You have to be a competitor first and foremost. And being a competitor means you adapt to situations. And hitting a buzzer should not be such a big deal. Like I prefer the buzzer than the stopwatches. Yeah. I know you feel the same. I think a lot of people do because the stopwatch is requiring someone else to do the timing for you. Whereas it's your responsibility to do exactly what's expected. And as soon as you're done, press that buzzer, your time stops, you're recorded efficiently for what should be, you know, something that's a lot of mistakes are made when it's relying on someone else.
Yeah. And Strongman is, like you said, it's not about trying to find the strongest person. It's almost an ill-named sport. It should be like strong sport or something. Because if all you wanted to do is find the strongest person, you could just powerlifting, or you could just have us push against force transducers in a variety of planes, and there really would be no sport. Yeah. It's just like the best quarterback isn't the one who can throw the football the best.
Yeah.
Laura says, great weekend. She even enjoyed some of the CrossFit, and the CrossFit athletes are insane, aren't they? I
love the CrossFit. I was sitting and watching with them backstage anytime the CrossFit stuff was on. I have such a level of respect for those guys. They're exercising literally all day. They don't stop
today. They are machines.
Yeah.
You kind of see them the day before and they're just doing some random workout.
Yeah.
There's people saying hello. Andrew with a members comment here saying, well done, Team Loss.
Thank you very much, Andrew. It's been a great weekend.
Been a great year.
It has been a great year.
Dalton, thank you very much for the super chat. Mitch, when you get back, Kelly has a video for you. You have some grip competition.
So I put out a YouTube video with a few grip challenges.
Okay.
There was a behind the back hold. There was a hex dumbbell grab from the top. And
can't believe you didn't challenge me to these today.
Well, I just sort of thought them off the top of my head and challenged some people at my gym to them. And just partially to show like you can't just throw me into any random strength challenge and assume that I'm going to win everything. Yeah. And it got the response that I wanted in terms of engagement, but the number of people who have tagged me and stuff, my God.
Do you feel like you've been beaten badly?
Sort of, but I have my Rogue Invitational trophy.
There's that, I guess.
Better. Yeah.
Few people commenting, excited that you're going to be coaching Rebecca Roberts.
Thank you. Yeah, looking forward to working with Rebecca. There's a lot of areas I feel she can improve on, which is exciting because she's a very talented athlete as it is. But Rebecca has had a tough year. Well, a tough few years, to be honest. But she's a lovely person. And I'm looking forward to getting stuck in and helping her. We don't really have much time between now and Worlds, but after Worlds, then we can really put some off-season work in and make a lot of progress because there's areas that I feel she still can get so much better in.
Yeah, I'm not close with any of the women really, but she far and away seems like the sweetest, kindest person.
Yeah. Mitch is smart. Liz has the stats.
Got a few super chats in there.
Yeah. Hold on. I scroll down. Here we go. Thank you very much, Ash, for the super chat. Good morning from Australia. Great work, Mitch. Keen to see pressing for Thor improving to give you some competition. Thanks, Loz and Liz. Thank you for joining us, Ash.
This is a worthwhile conversation to get into, and I like Thor, and I want his pressing to get back. Are we convinced that it's any better?
I think he really messed up with the farmers into the log. He was kind of panicking, I think, rushed to the start line.
He did,
You could see if you watch it back, he didn't even get his wrist strap on.
No.
Now, you should be able to adapt in that situation, but I think when you're coming back from an injury, it's hard. He did look better on the overhead medley.
Did he?
Better than what I think from the
Better
Arnold.
than he did on the log.
But at the Arnold, he hit a 182 axle for 2, arguably 3 with the one very close lockout.
Did he?
And he hit, and he hit the 170 for 1.
Yeah,
and he couldn't hit the 180. So everyone talks about the progress they're seeing. I want him to progress. I don't see it happening.
I'll tell you what, it's been noticeably better in terms of gym training, but gym training is different, and sometimes it is very hard when you have an injury. Touch wood, you have not had an injury, and touch wood, you won't. But it is mentally hard to come back from an injury. And Thor was never the most efficient overhead presser. He pressed with brute strength. If you look at his videos before any injury, he wasn't like a superb technical lifter overhead.
Yeah.
And I think just that confidence just isn't back yet. I mean, he looks supremely strong in so many areas, but the pressing is definitely fragile at the moment. And there's a lot of good pressers that can get between guys like Mitch and Thor.
But objectively, in competition, I don't see his performance this weekend as better than at the Arnold's.
No, I mean, he to be honest, the log was poor. That was, and I was like watching, expecting it to be better than it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, they expected it too. They were very, very disappointed.
Yeah, like talking to Bass backstage, they were expecting a bigger performance on the pressing. And like they said, training gone well, but training and competing is different.
Well, he jinxed him. If you see it on the behind the scenes, Bass said that Thor was going to win the log into the farmers into log.
Yeah, we were having fun out back.
But, there's quite a nice off season now, so hopefully you can keep building it back. But I think assessing yourself and assessing other people is really valuable in the sport. And I think he has strides to make to show that he can get it back.
What do you think he needs to do to get it back?
Well, he relies so much on his shoulders to press the log. I think if I had the same amount of leg drive as him, I would have similar results on my overhead press. Something like the sear dumbbell, he seems to have it in a really stable position, and he can launch it much better.
Mm-hmm.
It might be some sort of stability when he goes into lumbar extension to be able to drive the log, because he is better with an axle than with a log. Mm-hmm. So I think it's as simple as that. And if he added in a bit more legs, then it wouldn't be so much pec. I also think that just generally speaking, him and Tom press the same, where they almost stick their head through as soon as possible. And once you stick your head through, then it's just triceps and shoulders. And if you keep your head back, you can incorporate a little bit of chest, which even if it's a weak area for him, it's still massively valuable.
I think the big difference between the two of them is Tom has much better mobility.
Yeah.
So he can get under that bar a little bit more efficiently than Thor can. So when Thor pushes that head through, he's not in line to press.
Yeah.
It comes out of position, whereas Tom, particularly on a log, is very, very good. Actually,
crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy mobile.
For a guy that big,
that
his
size,
mobility is superb.
Yeah. I've never seen anyone put their head through so far.
I've also never seen Tom in the back warming up mobility or anything. I think he just has it.
Just naturally.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. This one just made me smile from John. Mitch's win has vindicated the moustache as the most anabolic facial hair.
I was saying this, that everyone thinks it's the beard, but the beard is actually, it overheats your chin.
Oh, no.
All of the power comes from the upper lip. That's right.
Oh, God.
Every strongman's going to be shaving their beards now.
Oh, no. Imagine if they all turn up in 2025.
Just tashes. 10 guys all with a tash.
Very upset. Paris, thank you for the super chat. Thank you, Rogue Invitational, for coming to Aberdeen. Thank you, Loz and Liz, for being so kind to our son Lewis on Sunday. Lewis was sweet.
Lewis was very cute. It was nice
sweet.
To meet him. Well, we've met him before, actually. But,
he was reminding me of
he
meeting us
very,
before.
Very sweet. It was nice to chat to you guys.
Inez and Mitch were fantastic and loved it. That's nice.
Yeah.
Nice. It's nice that I know that name, Paris. So it's nice to put a face to the name.
Indeed.
I'm not very good at that usually. Where are we? Beesums? Thank you for the super chat. Mitch, why do you prefer the lifters for most of your events? And do you think they will provide dampening and support for someone with ACL and cartilage issues in their knee?
The events that I prefer the lifters for are anything overhead, because naturally if you put yourself into more plantar flexion when your heel is up and toe is down, you're able to get more knee involvement rather than hip. And if you can break at the knee more than the hip, then you're going to lower the risk of tilting your torso forward, which would tend to have you press things out of the way and have things fall off the front of you. I also prefer them for anything where I'm loading. So if you're loading stones to a platform, you're getting an extra 1/2 inch. Same thing with the power stairs. Will it provide any dampening? No. The structure of a lifting shoe is to have a very, very stable base. If you're looking for dampening and some sort of cushioning to recover from knee injury, I would go to more of a cross trainer. I'm with Tier, so CXT2s I really, really like. They've got a version that has a carbon foot plate in the front, and I absolutely love those. But a cross trainer is going to be a much better bet to provide a bit of dampening. But for your ACL, you're going to rely on a lot of eccentric hamstring strength. So things like Nordic curls or eccentric hamstring curls are going to be really important for you.
There we go. Thank you for that. The SLK66, thank you for the super chat. Congrats, massive year. Leg day with Dr. Mike still in the schedule. Can't wait.
Yeah. I'm headed down to Dr. Mike very soon. We just have to line it up. The number of collabs I have is really exciting for the off season for 2025. We're going to plan it out. It's one thing that we left on the table a bit. The YouTube channel will grow nearly 400% over the year. But I think there's still so many things that we could do. Dr. Mike's on the cards. A trip down to Rogue HQ is on the cards. Stuff with Joe Kovacs, a silver medal shot putter who could probably win World's Strongest Man, is on the cards. Larry Wheels, Mike O'Hearn, they're absolutely both willing, taking a trip over to the UK and linking up with Eddie again. Ryan Terry.
You're training with John Hack soon, aren't you?
Training with John Hack next week.
Cool.
So lots and lots coming. Collabing with different people, and the vast majority of them are just really cool people.
Where we're going to see Maggie. Michael, thank you for the super chat. Mitch, do you think you would be as strong if you didn't have the mustache, or does it give you an unfair advantage by adding at least 30% extra strength?
32.5%.
Yeah, there you go. 32.5. We've covered the mustache.
You did become a bit conspiracy theorist because
you shaved it off.
Well, you won your first competition with no mustache. You won your second competition with no mustache. But then you were like, I miss it. If I can win with it, then it stays forever. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And then you won the Arnold's with it.
I shaved it because it just became too much of a thing and a talking point. I found it annoying.
As with answering super chats about
it is annoying. But
thank you so much for your super chat.
Yeah, no, look, it's
goes to us, not Mitch's tash.
It's here to stay, but I think I could win with it. I think I could win without it. I just can't grow a beard. That's the honest truth.
And he looks like a thumb with nothing. So
that's right.
Yeah, he needs something. Break up that big head.
I saw a video of you without the tash the other day, and
weird.
It's kind of it is.
Yeah.
It's amazing how quickly you just get used to something.
Yeah.
We need Loz and Thor's dad on grip.
That'd be fun. I'd like to go and train grip with Thor's dad.
My dad's the same way, by the way. My dad could outgrip me.
Yeah. Dad strength. That's what it is. Well, you should be stronger now. Your grip is strong, to be fair.
It's never been much of a problem aside from our one loss of the year.
Yeah. And that wasn't grip strength. It was
to take it under my control, I think it is. I think if I had my fingers stronger, I think I would have been better off.
Yeah. And that's, it's something we've got planned to work on in the off season.
For sure.
This question just made me laugh. Comment. If Liz doesn't fancy another Strongwoman comp, maybe Mitch could coach her for the CrossFit next year. I'd be so much worse at that. I'd be even worse. I would. That would be awful.
Coaching for CrossFit, dude. I've talked to many of the coaches. It just seems so difficult conceptually because you're training for 40 different disciplines.
Can you imagine?
And somehow you're supposed to jam that into a week. It's incredible.
Yeah. They are incredible athletes.
They are. And I'm not. Christine, thank you for the super chat. Congrats, Team Loz. Next time you're in Scotland, Mitch, give me a shout for some sightseeing. We won't see another like you in the sport. That's nice, isn't it? It's always such short breaks, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we were talking earlier, we saw M&S Food Hall, the Hilton, Aloft, and P&J. That was all we saw.
And the restaurants.
Yes.
The version of the Toby Carvery.
The Toby Carvery.
The Toby
But
Carvery.
Mitch got a nice round of applause.
A standing ovation. So
I think we should give him a round of applause now.
let's not.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
heard
Everyone
enough
at home,
clapping
please
this
start
weekend. Yeah, please. Loz, was it weird watching Andrea and Mitch do the farmers and log at the same time?
Do you know, it was weird because obviously we're not used to the men and women competing together, but it was very nice. It was cool. And obviously they weren't competing against each other. So
It's a nice little moment at the end as well. It's nice for me. I only had to come out once.
Yeah, I've said this a few times now. They had us going by ourselves sometimes, paired up. They had us going in fives. They had us paired with the women. So I've seen some criticism about why would you put the men and women together, but 5 of 6 events didn't have the men and women together. Whatever you wanted, you would have got at least in one event there. So I thought that was a really cool addition.
Yeah,
I thought the
like
whole
the variety.
production that Rogue put on was really good, to be honest.
And let's remember, I mean, this time last year, people were absolutely shitting all over Rogue, weren't they? I think they were very harshly criticized. And this is such a huge step forward this year in terms of production, how the event was run and how smoothly it went in comparison, weight selection events.
You know, I think as well, if I'm thinking of the ordinary fan who was at the Invitational, if the general sequence of events went strong women, strong men, CrossFit women, CrossFit men, if you're a CrossFit fan, you're probably going to come just for the last few heats of the Strongman just to see the guys in the lead, and then you're going to sit and watch the CrossFit and stick there. So I actually think the average CrossFit fan wouldn't come to the events an hour and a half early to catch all the strong women.
No.
So it was also a really good way to
integrate them.
For the fans to be able to see all of us and all of us be exposed, because frankly, in the hierarchy of things, CrossFit's more popular than Strongman. And so the more exposure that strong men and strong women can get to those fans, the more likely they are to become fans of ours. And you don't have to ride an echo bike and you don't have to run. And it's glorious.
Interesting question here from Rebecca. They were there, but I thought the staging wasn't as good as America. The implements didn't have the visual wow factor as we have watched on a stream. What do you guys think? They didn't put any of those massive, like the Wheel of Pain. Or
No.
They didn't have any of those huge implements.
No, and to be fair, Rogue is based out of Austin, Texas, isn't it? So, isn't it?
Columbus.
Oh, Columbus. Okay.
Yeah.
But no
Well,
matter what, it's in the States. And
Shipping it across.
I was gonna say.
you got to give them a bit of grace on that.
Yeah. It was very expensive to move it over, I'm sure.
Yeah, it would have had to.
Yeah.
And I think something, you know, I agree. I do miss some of those events. I think the visual of some of those things is really, really cool. And no one really does it better in terms of those big visuals than Rogue. But we also have to remember that this is a marketing weekend for Rogue and they want to sell their equipment.
Yeah, they ain't selling a roller coaster.
No, you can't sell some of those things. So, you know, people will see the yokes, they'll see the logs, they'll see the dumbbells, even like everything. I mean, I got a close-up look at some of the equipment. It's so cool. So well made.
Yeah. The kettlebells were amazing. They were really cool. They built that power stairs implement. And there's half of fans who want cool stuff, and there's half of fans who want more regulated stuff. And so you can't really please everyone, but yeah, I'm sure they'll continue to build. In fact, you know, this year, if you think of last year, they had the roller coaster, they had the Iron Bull. I get that it was very visually appealing, but the roller coaster had been done a few times. I think it was time for it to cycle out.
Yeah.
The Iron Bull caused so much controversy. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't go, let's just do more standard events, implements this year. Let's have a really good, smooth year.
Yeah.
And I think all the
They
fans
did.
echoed that.
Like
Absolutely.
the Strongman went, you know, without a hitch. There was no serious injury whatsoever.
No.
It was just smooth sailing all the way through. Good competition. Athletes performed well. It was.
I thought it went really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Different to Texas, but yeah.
And I think it's, you know, we're in a stage where we have so many competitions now that it's important that we do have some distinguishing different factors.
Yeah.
Or
Especially
features when it comes to
often
events.
The same guys in a lot of
Yeah.
these big shows.
Like we've got the strongest man on earth that's trying to put the heaviest, most brutal show on. Obviously, the Arnold is always known for being super heavy. World's Strongest Man's a slightly different format. This is a slightly different format. The Giants live shows are a little bit different. I think we need that. I'd like to see a little bit more variation sometimes.
Funny, I think the Arnold is losing its identity because Strongest Man on Earth has taken the heaviest show.
Yeah.
Worlds is its own thing. Now, Rogue is very medley based, a little bit of CrossFit crossover. What is Arnold?
I wonder if Arnold
the second longest running show.
Yeah, I wonder if Arnold will go back to that sort of brutally heavy type show.
The thing is, you can't have lots of competitions doing that because it's just going to break them.
Yeah, but
especially now they're doing the Arnold UK again as well.
Well, the Arnold is completely different to the Arnold UK. You can't compare the two. The Arnold's is the history. The Arnold's UK is like
if they're going to have very similar lineups and it's going to be 2 or 3 weeks later,
we spoke about this privately. I think the Arnold's UK needs to be more of a feeder show.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, have a couple of those big names, and then the guys who maybe aren't your first top 10, but they're right knocking on the door, and give them that opportunity at the Arnold UK. I think that's a good idea. Yeah. Anywho, we have some new members. Seabass Tea Coffee, thank you very much, and Nico gifting 10 memberships very generously.
Much.
Thank you.
Like we said, we've got some fun members videos, and we do have a new one coming out in a few days, I think.
Yeah, I can get it. Oh, no, I can't get it out tomorrow. I've got something else coming out tomorrow. Eric, thank you so much for the super chat. Congratulations on a great win. 2 questions. Who will hit the deadlift record first, Mitch or Thor? Also, Mitch, do you prefer raw lifts or equipped?
Honestly, I think if you give us a good full prep in a suit, the person who pulls 505 first is the one who attempts it first. We're going to be at the same competition when we do it. I've put that out there. I wouldn't feel comfortable attempting that lift at a show that Thor wasn't invited to. And if he decided not to come, then it is what it is. But if Thor is doing it somewhere, then I will more than likely be there as well.
Can I ask a question before you answer the raw? If there's going to be a deadlift world, like the deadlift championships, who are the 5 guys you think should be invited?
Me,
just
Thor, Rauno, Trey. You sort of want to say Makarov, but it's hard to say that with how many times it's been the same thing over and over. But I don't see anyone who deserves the shot. Sorry, Hicksy.
Okay.
Yeah, Hicksy. That's the 5.
Okay.
Hicks, if you're watching,
there's other guys. There's other guys.
I was about to whisper,
there's other guys as well, but I just wanted to sort of get a 5 off you, just off the top of your head.
I think that's it. Although I think of the 5, I think Trey is the weakest because he won't use a suit, and there's no way that 505 is getting lifted.
All Trey needs is a solid training partner to help stuff him in the suit. The problem is he trains on his own. Out in the
interesting thing with a suit, like I've had clients building up to OSG recently, and week 1 they couldn't use a suit, but you have to learn to use a suit. So I believe Trey can use a suit. He needs to give it time. You can't be, as an athlete, you can't be that stubborn that you handicap yourself.
Yeah, because a suit, it almost inevitably throws the bar out in front of you until you learn to sit in it and use it properly.
What if you went for one of those sort of single ply that Rauno used to use, where you just pull it up and it's not the...
Look, he might have to try a few different suits because they're all slightly different. They have different kind of feel to them. But essentially, if he wants to compete with the likes of Thor and Mitch and Browno, he needs to get into a suit. Now, I like seeing raw lifting. The second part of this question, I prefer raw lifts to equipped lifts. But I wouldn't put myself at a disadvantage, just like you wouldn't.
I like equipped lifting person, only on the deadlift, not like in powerlifting on bench. But I just like to see ridiculous numbers, and
you're much less vulnerable in equipped lifting. I do like that side
protection around the hips a bit more. There's much more likelihood of you being able to continue a competition. If you're lifting and probably continue lifting into the future as well.
Yeah. So I think as guys get stronger, we have to appreciate that you're eventually going to get so strong that you can just tear muscles off the bone. And equipped lifting helps that to not happen. And I get the argument for raw, for sure, from a purist standpoint. But from if you have a favorite athlete, you want them to be around for a while. If Tom Brady was in the NFL for 4 years, he would not have helped the growth as much as he did. So I would say equipped lifting is my preference. That being said, I hate the suit. I hate getting into the suit. It's so uncomfortable.
And
for those reasons,
you really don't wear that tight a suit either. You don't have to dangle off a yoke to get into your
suit.
Well,
you put him into a suit most of the time.
He puts himself into the suit. I simply do up the Velcro. It's very.
But also, I think it's important as well to point out that you should train. 80% of your training should be out of the suit. I think a lot of people spend too much time in a suit.
No, there's certainly. I don't think any reason for off-season training in a suit. No way.
There we go. El Prez Cat, thank you for the super chat. Was Loz doing the YMCA after the USA election? Also, did you know that Trump would go to his rallies using the Undertaker theme? Loz is wrestling you. Please, no politics. No, we've spoken so much. Even my 15-year-old son on the way to school is talking politics with his best friend.
Yeah.
Shut up, everyone.
Well,
Go on, you can answer the question.
As you know, I'm a big wrestling fan, so and Undertaker was my favorite. So
well, there you go.
I was very happy.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, though. Elpress
Thank you
Cat.
for the super cat.
Super Cat.
It's Elpress Cat. I know Elpress, so it's fine. I'm allowed to whinge.
There we go.
I can't read from here. Simulation. Sorry, had to deal with some stuff, so missed a bit. What happened to Record Breakers on Sunday? Was gutted. Spoke to Tom and Matt. They were too.
There was no Record Breakers, was there?
No, there was never any announced at any point, so it's not like we were expecting them, was it?
No, and they did Highland Games instead of Record Breakers.
Yes.
Do you know, after a 2-day show, to sort of just have a Record Breakers dropped on you, it's not the ideal setup or situation. I think there's so few things you can also reasonably expect for Record Breakers. For example, last year they had the Hammers, they had Dinny Hold, which they're both fine. You don't really need to train for it. But they had Sear Dumbbell, and you didn't have a single guy
wanted to do
opting into that.
No, and it was it's also been a bit less of a deal at Rogue each year, it seems. Like last year, I know that was mostly driven by the poor weather, but we just ended up in the tent, didn't we? In the Rogue
getting
tent.
wet feet.
Getting wet feet from the bottom.
Trying the
the Dinny Stone hold, but maybe it'll return. It's still a feature at the Arnold's on the Sunday, so we'll see.
I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Yeah,
no problem. Nicole, thank you for the members' comment. Congrats on the win, Mitch. Way to rep Canada. Congrats, Mitch.
Thank you.
Jane reminding us that Reino Nell has a tash, and Reino won the SCL finals this weekend.
I'm sure Jane knows.
Yeah.
I don't have a clue what Reino Nell looks like.
Have you not? I'll show you a picture of him
Okay.
later. But yeah, he's doing very, very well, and I'm excited to see more of Reino. I think he's got a big future.
Yeah. If Mitch grows a beard, it becomes permanent. Only if it's been on the face for a substantial amount of time, then it can't leave, because who knows what's happened in that time. Andre, thank you so much for the super chat. Mitch did get 10 euros, and so will his trainers. Have a nice evening, everyone. 10 euros.
Thank you very much.
What's this in reference to? I
I'm
feel
not
stupid.
sure.
Like there's an in-joke that I'm not in on.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Which is very upsetting.
World's Strongest Man were choosing a site in Canada. Which city would Mitch recommend? Probably his home city.
If
Barrie.
Worlds wanted to come to Canada, where would you recommend they went? Which city?
Just like a nice city, or all things considered?
All things considered. Out of the things that you know World's Strongest Man considers.
They seem to consider inconvenience, so certainly nowhere with an international airport.
No international airport. Yeah.
That rules out most major cities.
Nowhere cheap.
Yeah, nowhere cheap.
Yeah.
I think there's a few places. I think Vancouver would be great, particularly if you did it up in Whistler. There's a beautiful lake called Lake Louise, and that would be amazing scenery and backdrop. Thinking about days when they did it over in Africa, and there was really cool scenery there. We could do it there. We certainly could do it in Toronto if you wanted to make it a big show. There's really cool buildings in Ottawa, very distinct Canadian buildings. They make this is not good. I believe they make the roof of copper, and it oxidizes into this sort of light navy bluish color. It's very distinct to Canada. A lot of cool buildings up there, but until a few things change, let's just keep it out of Canada. I'm not so proud of Canada at the moment, but let's change it. Let's make things better. Come on.
Let's make Canada great again.
Oh, no. Jace loves strength. Thank you for the super chat. Lars, in the fantasy booking world of coach versus student, which event would you most want to go up against the Moose in on a one-to-one challenge? Mitch?
Do you know one of the interesting things? I've said this before. Mitch would have been one of the hardest people for me to beat. Not just because he's a great athlete, but his strengths were also my strengths. Whereas, like, you take Tom Stoltman, my strengths were much better than his weaknesses, if you like. So there's events I could beat him at, whereas me against Mitch would be so much harder for me because the things that I was really good at, he is also really good at. Now, I would have loved us to have gone head to head on a yoke, but if I'm 100% honest, I think I was bloody good at yoke, but Mitch is better. So
I know what you would have me on. Do you can't think of one thing?
There's things that I would probably be able to beat you on, perhaps. Arm wrestling.
No, that you would just purely be favored on. I have one.
What?
Like a 10-meter max farmers.
Farmers.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, farmers are probably.
Frame carry.
Yeah, farmers or frame or something like that. But it wouldn't be like it would be close. It's not like a guarantee.
But it would be for max load, not for speed. 10 meters.
Yeah,
no
your
drops.
grip is better than his.
Yeah.
Different type of grip. Like
Just
grip.
take it.
Yeah, but just take it. Accept it.
I think. What was your time on the frame at the Arnolds?
7.0 something, but definitely under 7.
He wants to test it 10 months down the line.
Like things like that, we'd be very close at.
Yeah.
No,
maybe on a good day.
did you not do the Arnold frame?
Yeah.
It was a
What was
different.
your
No,
time?
it was a different one.
It was the same.
It was the old
it was the old one, but it was the same weight.
Yeah. What was your time?
7
what?
something.
Point.
I'd have to look.
0, 0, 0.
But if I watched it back, definitely under 7.
yeah. I had the stopwatch. Where are we? Why do you look angry, Elizabeth?
I'm more than happy to admit that Mitch is better.
Yeah.
But only because you've coached me to be
Well,
better.
I'm the only reason. Obviously.
I'm not angry at all. I'm tired and I have a bit of a resting bitch face. That's it.
Our daughter was very excited that we came back yesterday, and she decided to wake up at 3 o'clock.
She got up at 3 a.m. and got into bed with us and was a
Didn't want to
chatterbox.
get back to sleep.
No, yeah. So we're just knackered, to be honest. We spent all day yesterday driving. Trained today. Even I trained.
Yeah.
Honestly,
You did very well.
I did. Thank you. Yes.
People at the gym are proud of you for still going.
They're amazed. Michael with the members comment, hey, Mitch, Loz and Liz, my schedule's clear to collab. There you go. There's another offer for you. Michael Scott, not from Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it would be good clickbait.
Michael
it'd be
Scott
great.
is doing awesome.
Where are we? Hawkeye, thank you so much for the super chat. Who has the strongest tash in the Strongman game and why is it Gav? I would say it is still Gav because he has that upwards.
Mitch has got enough things going for himself.
You've got
Yeah,
to give it to
he
Gav.
can't have everything.
Yeah, I'm not
Just let
And
Gav have it.
he's got the. Yeah, it's not even.
question number 5.
Gav just looks epic, doesn't he?
Yeah, Mitch does not. Angus. Loz, was it hard to stay impartial in commentary?
This is a funny thing I get all the time, and I believe I'm very impartial in commentary. Is it hard? At times, it can be hard. There's certain things that you know
so much more about those athletes, so you could go on more, couldn't you?
And obviously, it's one of my best friends sat next to me, so I want him to do well. But I'm there paid to do a job, and I think I do as good a job as I can at staying impartial. And I'm genuine. I'm super impressed by what people do. If I see someone doing something impressive that isn't one of my athletes, I'm not going to sit there and just shit on them. I'm a Strongman fan, and I'm going to get excited about it. So it's cool for me to watch impressive performances. But obviously, you want your friends to do well, people that you work with. But I think I do a good job of.
No, you're fine. Yeah, you're absolutely fine.
I probably am quieter when you're up than anyone else.
I think you maybe go too far the other way and don't say enough when they're up because you're hyper conscious of what you're saying.
Maybe.
Yeah, I watched the stream back, and I think objectivity is one of your strengths for sure. And I actually really appreciate it because I know if you tell me you think I could do something, you genuinely think I can.
Yeah.
But watching the stream back, I'm in the lead by say 6 points with 2 events to go, and you start highlighting someone else. Thanks, dude.
Yeah, way down my back.
You know I've got your back, and but both of us. Well, I think one great thing about both of us is we'll always look at you and think of ways we can get better.
Yeah,
it's never satisfied that this is good enough.
My performance this weekend, we were saying it.
Yeah, we said B.
It was okay.
B plus.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
It wasn't your best performance of the year. But it's been a long, tough year, and I think you've got to take that into consideration.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
the worst
you've
thing
done
would be
Deadlift for Max in Vegas. You had competition 3 weeks ago. There's been a lot of travel that you have to deal with. It's non-stop.
the worst thing to fall into is to say, "Oh, it wasn't your best performance, but it was good enough to win."
Yeah, and exactly that. It was good enough to win
that.
that, but we want to be better by the time the Arnold comes around,
Of course.
because everyone else is going to be training hard and wanting to catch up.
Dia, thank you for the super chat. Put Canada on the map. Quick question. Do you think your ability to consistently win event after event comes down more to physical or mental strength?
Well, it's sort of impossible it's impossible to do it if you don't have the physical strength. But I think the consistency is certainly more mental than it is physical. And mental, I'm on a bit of a loop at the moment saying this a lot. I think one of my biggest advantages is that I love the process more than I love the results. I love to train. I love to get in the gym. And so it takes no motivation. It takes no encouragement. It takes no competition. It takes no title. It doesn't take winning or losing or hot streak or cold streak or whatever. I just like to get into the gym and do my thing. And that in itself, the mental strength to be able to do that, I think that tends towards really good, consistent results. But I also find ways to get the most out of myself, and I'm relentlessly trying to figure things out and improve, and all the way up to the minute before I go out. In fact, this weekend I learned how to pick up the Husafel bag better from watching Tom about 5 minutes before I went out. So I'm always trying to learn. And when you're surrounded by the best guys in the world, the dumbest thing you could do is stay in your own lane and not take a look around.
Even like sometimes just talking to the CrossFit athletes, you might pick up something.
I strongly believe the only reason I could hit the kettlebell is because I talked to Brent Fikowski on how you would do it. He is very, very smart. And of course he goes, "Oh, well, in kettlebell sports, they have to hold it like this." Oh, okay. And then as soon as I did that, I could lock it out, no problem. Before that,
it was an event we haven't really seen in Strongman as well.
No,
so
and that was 24 hours before the event.
Yeah.
It's not like
crazy.
It was a done deal.
Blue Shadow saying it looked like a great arena. How did it stack up against the Hydro? It's very different. It's much bigger. Like the whole building is much, much bigger at P&J Live.
It was
a lot
cool
more
venue.
floor space.
It was a really cool venue.
Yeah,
I got to say.
It was really cool. It seems very modern, really convenient.
And it kind of just,
right
the color and everything just worked with Rogue.
It was perfect. Yeah, the Rogue branding, like you would think they'd built it because it was just so Rogue walking in there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was almost like if you didn't look up, you'd be forgiven you were back in Texas, wouldn't you? It was great. No, it was really nice. The axles look so good.
They were nice.
They were incredible. Yeah.
Really, all the kit was nice.
Yeah.
Jiminy Crickets, thank you for the super chat. Reese's Pieces is superior candy. This is not a question. Take my support for the channel and buy Mitch some candy. Love you, your conscience. That's from a Q&A up on the way.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah. Loz let slip that he hates Reese's Pieces. And do you know how many people were in my DMs? You had 2 messages of support. You had a lot of shit thrown your way as well. I didn't want to tell you.
Hey, I can't like everything, you know.
A lot of abuse. Ben, thank you for the super chat. Congrats, Mitch. Now, I'm a big Martins fan. The sport isn't the same without him. He could challenge Mitch. Any news on him returning?
I would love to see Martins back to his best. I think, yeah, great athlete, you know, someone that if he could get back to his best, he brings that excitement again. Whether he can or not is a completely different question.
It always seems very unlikely to me when it's been a couple of years.
It's very hard to come back. I mean, he came back for the Arnolds, and I look, big fan of Martins, but he was bad.
Yeah, he had a terrible show at the Arnolds this year, yeah.
Now, it's tough when you've kind of suffered with injuries and you've really pushed your body to the limit. Never say never. He was a great champion, but it's not an easy task.
I can explain this, Robert. So at Rogue, unlike other competitions, this is one thing I don't really like. Rather than go on the last event placing, they go on the overall placing up until that point. If you are tied on points before the competition, they do a number draw out of a hat and you go based on your number draw. So if you've got the higher number, like Thor pulled out number 10, I believe, then you get the advantage of going after the other guy. Yeah. There we go.
I think Tom could have gone faster on the stones. He seemed to just
Definitely.
but I don't think it would have made a difference. Thor was bloody
Thor
fast.
was really fast, yeah.
He just made them look easy. I thought you performed perfectly on that, as I would want you to. You didn't try and do what they do. Something that annoys me so much is when like normal sized men come to me or women and they're like, I want to one motion stones like Thor or half Thor or Tom Stoltman. You are not half Thor or Tom Stoltman. Mitch Hooper is not half Thor or Tom Stoltman. What we've got to do is get the best performance that you are capable of. And Mitch executed perfectly, got second place. That was a brilliant result for you in that event. You didn't one motion them like Thor did, but you were efficient and fast at lapping and loading, moved well in between implements, and got the best that you could out of your body.
Yeah, it's just, for me, those last 3 barrels were sort of the height of the bottom of my sternum, and for Thor, it's just below his belly button. Yeah. That makes a world of difference in terms of trying to one motion.
And tying into that, thank you very much, Vegan Power Dude, for the super chat. Greetings, Groovers. Congrats, Mitch. Thor one motioning the stones was my highlight. Hoping to see Tom and him face off on stones. That would be cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that would be really nice. Woo. A lot of question marks now. People saying, oh, who's the real king of the stones?
Thor's 2-0 now.
This year, is it? Yeah, because we had the Max Stone at Strongest Man on Earth.
I think where Tom excels on stones is a run of Atlas stones. He's extremely good. But Thor is extremely good too.
And obviously, he still holds the Max Stone world record. Tom does, yeah. Lars should go to the WWE. He should not.
Definitely shouldn't.
Pavlo Nekonechny should be invited to another deadlift comp.
Well, he's got to get himself back in shape first. If he can get back to where he was, absolutely. But he's not there yet. He needs a bit of training still and a bit of time.
Michael, thank you for the super chat. Big congrats, Mitch. Until someone new comes along, we will all be watching reruns of Mitch beating this current group of athletes comp after comp. I don't think that's a fair assumption. That's a lot of pressure.
Let's look at the sport 3 years ago. Things can change very quickly. Yeah. 3 years ago, this man did his first World's Strongest Man.
No, it wasn't 3 years ago. It was 2 years ago.
2 years.
2.5.
Yeah. So 3 years ago, no one knew who he was. In 3 years' time, we may have some 6'10" freak of nature that and people are going to look at Mitch and think, all right, this guy's doing this. I need to copy this now and catch up. So you never know what's going to happen. But right now, I know in terms of our plan is to keep getting better. It's something I try and get every single one of my clients to focus on. And you always bang on about it as well. Just enjoy the process and get better. Those are the only things you have control over. You have no control over how good someone else is. So just keep focusing on getting yourself better. Mitch has won everything there is to win. Very hard to motivate yourself when you've won everything, but he still loves training. You know, he's in the gym training with us today, my little group of guys that we train with, and all 4 of us just love training. It's that part of it is fun, isn't it? It's just what we love to do.
I'm not included in that.
I love the vote of confidence for sure, but I think this ideology is getting more and more popular, that it's just Mitch wins and then who comes second. And it's really changed and maybe it's because I've won multiple shows now and I'm on a good streak, but it's changed the feeling towards winning for me. I don't have the same sort of positive elation after winning. It's sort of like
it's relief.
Yeah.
Okay. And you
because
see
that pressure's on you now.
I think Brian Shaw had that a lot.
Yeah,
and Zadrunas had that a lot. It was like it's not exciting when they win. It was just thank God I won.
The problem is if you don't win now,
second place is bad.
Yeah, but I think my reactions towards events are very different for that reason as well, because I'm focusing on the events and, of course, on the points and how I can beat guys, but I'm focusing on how I can get the most out of myself. And other guys, everyone else is putting out videos about me and predictions about me and who can take me down and blah, blah, blah. And I think it's putting a bit of a chip on my shoulder that when I do well, it's like, I don't know what it is. It doesn't rub me the wrong way, and I don't have any ill feelings towards anyone for making them. In fact, I appreciate it because it gives me more attention and publicity and whatnot. But when so many people are looking at you and thinking about what you're going to do, athletes and fans alike, it brings out a different side of me, and I'm not always calm and happy. And for whatever reason, I've just started to flip a bit of a different switch when I do well in an event, which it's a celebration of sorts, but. Yeah, it's such a different feeling right now. What I would give to go into a comp not as the favorite at the moment and just be able to surprise people.
Enjoy it a little bit as well.
Yeah.
When you came second at Worlds, how did it feel?
Yeah, I was fine. I was happy. I was really, really proud of what I did given the circumstances. I think I did everything that I possibly could.
Do you think some people are very quick to forget things? And like
People have recency
I think
bias.
because you've done so well this year, was it 8 out of 9 comps you've come first in? Tom's been getting a lot of negative comments towards him, and I think people forget that he was second at Rogue to you last year. He was third at the Arnold's. He won World's Strongest Man. He won the World Tour Finals last year. Tom is not a bad athlete at all.
No, but he has deserved a portion of what he's got. Not everything, and no one deserves to be harassed. But he did come last in Vegas.
Sure,
he did have a couple of really poor results.
But what I'm saying is like.
But it's not that he's a bad athlete.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. You know,
of course.
And in all sports, athletes have peaks and troughs.
Yeah,
you know, it's very rare to see someone that's just always at the top.
Yeah, and let's take this weekend in context. I won by 10 points. Theoretically, if I didn't do the last event, we would have tied for first.
Yeah.
So let's just say there was a world where I couldn't press that kettlebell, I couldn't get it locked out efficiently. That would have resulted in a me, Thor, and Tom 3-way battle with a 400-pound Husafel for distance. It would have been an incredible finish to the show.
That would have been
but
nasty.
That is how close I am to losing. It's not like I am 25 points in the lead and winning every single event. Yeah. It's closer than you guys think. And I think I deserve more recognition for my ability to execute when things are on the line. Where people right now are just sort of going, oh, well, of course.
Yeah.
But it's not of course. You still have to execute every single time.
We've talked about that out back. It doesn't feel safe at all until it's over, does it?
It's when I was watching you and that clean on that first log, and like in my head, I'm like, drop it.
But you're never in a million years going to drop it, are you? You're like, this is going up.
I still don't know how you managed to fight that and get in position. It shows your competitive nature that you are there to fight. And I think that's something that a champion needs. And I think, you know, we saw it on the women's side as well. Some of the women that play sort of mid-table, like
Hannah Lindsay, example.
She came into that competition battered. She's had a lot of shit going on, but she kept fighting all the way. I respect that. I respect athletes to fight. When you beat Tom on the shield carry at World's Strongest Man,
the crab walk,
it wasn't because you were stronger. It's because you just wanted it more. And sometimes as an athlete, you have to fight. You've got to get yourself into that competition and give 100%. You might not win, but you have to give 100%. Otherwise, you're going to let these guys beat you. You're going against the very best in the world. You can't just turn up and expect things to happen. You have to get there, give 100% and execute. And you're going to have to continue to do that. Athletes are going to, you know, you've got the target on your back. Everyone wants to beat you.
That's fine though. I like Mitch with a chip on his shoulder. He gets so sassy. It's great.
It's you know, it's so psychological. If you watch, say, someone deadlift for reps, they lock out one easy, bit of a grind, major grind, doesn't leave the floor. You should never go from like completed rep to can't get the bar off the floor. That's giving up in your head. And I think you do see that a lot. But it is I'm not saying as though like they're just deciding that they're done. There are mechanisms in your brain that the harder you contract a muscle, we have shut off mechanisms naturally inbuilt to shut that muscle off. And you have to psychologically override that. And as you contract the muscle harder, that gets harder to psychologically override it, but it's still possible. You just have to ramp up how much you want it as it continues to go. Eventually, you sort of give up in some way, but it's so hard. It's so hard to make people understand how much psychological effort it takes to just say, I got one more.
In simplifying what Mitch said then, because he's 100% right. There are times athletes will send me training videos and they'll ask, oh, what can I do better? And the one thing they can do better is try harder. Which sounds stupid, but they think they're trying as hard as they can because that's as hard as they've ever tried. But there is more there. And until you can push your body to that absolute limit, and there are sometimes I will put someone through a session just to test their mental fortitude.
He's done it to me. It's horrible.
And that's a big difference between someone that just wants to train and someone that wants to be a competitor. Because you've got to push to a level that you didn't think you could push to.
I remember when I was early in powerlifting days, one day I really didn't want to go to the gym.
We haven't even addressed that one yet. It's been on the screen for 10 minutes.
This one.
Yeah.
Sorry, let me just get this out.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
So
Loz was about to click away.
I went to the gym, or I didn't want to go to the gym. I lied in bed, and I've never missed a session that I thought I was going to have. And I got really angry at myself pretty quickly. got out of bed, and I thought, what is the most painful, grueling, boring thing I can make myself do? And I did 10 by 10 squats, superset with 10 by 10 deadlifts. So you know what? If you're gonna opt out of a workout, I'm gonna show you how bad that's gonna be for you. And that's just sort of, it's almost like a military mentality
Self-harm.
100%, which is fine by me. If you're gonna try to sell yourself short, then punishment is deserved, I believe.
Wow.
Derek Pounds don't have that mentality.
Yeah.
If he did bad in a competition, he'd punish himself in the gym.
Zach, thank you for the super chat. Sorry you had to wait so long. Impressive performance from Thomas Evans. I feel he was on his way to a top 5 finish without injury.
Very impressive.
Yeah, he was great.
Thomas Evans was looking really good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he picked up a small issue with his bicep.
This is becoming a major thing for Tom Evans, though.
It is.
Major.
But when he's healthy, he's doing very, very well.
He won the second event. He beat Thor and Tom on the power stairs as well. Jokic power stairs.
Yeah.
But he's hurt at this show. He was hurt pretty bad at Strongest Man on Earth last year. He wasn't 100% at Strongest Man on Earth this year. He was hurt at the Arnold this year and had to pull out. It's more shows than not that Tom, but he is an absolute warrior.
Yeah,
so
he
you guys
is.
might not know how hurt he is because he will not quit.
Ever.
You won't hear him complain.
I spoke to him afterwards, and he's like, "I'm fine. I'm fine."
Yeah.
And you know he's not fine. You can see he's physically in pain, but he is a tough cookie.
Yeah, football.
Hedgehog, thank you so much for gifting memberships.
And again, I respect that.
100%. Yeah.
Oh no, so many people were talking politics there. Anthony, thank you for the super chat. Liz, I am avoiding political things too. Mitch, congrats. Have my comp on Saturday. Got my snacks ready, my gear ready, and my mind right. Any last minute the tops? Masters 50
tips, I guess.
Happy rate. Yeah. Tips. Any last minute tips, guys? Someone asked me for
Some
tips.
tips. Oh yeah, you got to ask some tips the other day. But I think Mitch is the man to ask for tips right now.
Tips.
Look, I think
or tops.
Just keep it in context, because it's very important to have your mind about you, and you can't have a 10 out of 10 arousal state through the whole day of competition. You're going to be erratic and inconsistent. So if you tend to be a person who frets too much, focus more on the things that matter a lot to you and should matter a lot to you. And if you can get those in the best order, or you can at least recognize that the competition result is not going to affect what your family thinks of you, or how your work is going, or your financial security, or on and on and on, whatever you might value the most, then you can have a clearer mind and go out there and perform. And I think a clear mind is one of the best cues that you can have when you're out there competing.
Thank you, Monica, for the members comment. Member for a long time now.
Wow.
Mitch, congrats on your win. Predictions for the Magnuson Classic. Do you want to know some of the big names doing it?
I know some of them, but yeah.
Mateusz Kaliszkowski.
Yeah.
Tristan Hoth.
Mm-hmm.
Ivor Schmuxless. Evans Nana.
Shane
Flowers. Have I missed anyone obvious? That's quite a few Icelandic guys doing it.
I think
Rongo Keane.
I think Mateusz has to have the inside track. I think in that type of lineup, he's going to be able to finish low mid-table on the deadlift.
9 events.
And then if you talk about you're dealing with natural stones and you have that many events, I would definitely pick Mateusz for the win. Is Rain O'Neill doing it?
No, he's
it's
not.
too bad.
It is
I would like
too
to see
bad.
him at that type of level.
I would too.
I
But
had a message from a friend of Reno today, who basically, because he won the Strongman Champions League World Tour, the Strongman Champions League finals.
Final, yeah.
They were saying, "Oh, he'll get an invite to World's Strongest Man, so it's not worth doing OSG." I highly, if he's watching this, highly recommend he still does OSG, because they don't look at other competitions. So, as good as he is, he needs to get his face in front of the right people, and I would recommend that he still does OSG.
Because he's from South Africa, right?
Yes.
He, in my mind, has to give a body of evidence that he is better than Yaku.
Yeah.
And you can't do that at SCL.
No.
Sam, thank you for the super chat. Ambushed coming out of the bathroom isn't how I expected to meet you both, but lovely nonetheless. That was we didn't ambush him, to be fair. His girlfriend did. She'd stopped us for a picture.
We were trying here.
Yeah.
We were going to tease him, weren't we? But he came out in time.
He did come out in time. Is it time for Giants Live to incorporate the women into all their shows more?
No.
And how would be best to do this? Unfortunately, it's a cost thing. Rogue put on one competition a year. Giants Live are putting on 6 or 7 big internationals plus the women's show as well. they have to have a return for that investment. Traveling an additional 10 athletes, paying 10
I'm
more
going to say
prize
this now.
payouts
Right?
for every
Giants
single
Live have just
competition.
announced that they're going to run Britain's Strongest Woman next year in June, I believe.
Yeah.
If you want to see the women more and more, make sure you go and
You
support
must pay.
that
You
show.
must pay for a ticket
Because last
yeah.
year that show lost money for
Yeah.
Giants Live. So one thing I thought was really good about Rogue this weekend, I saw a lot of the women that weren't competing, but strong women, they're supporting the women.
Did.
If we want to see more and more of the women, you have to go to these shows and, you know, watch the pay-per-view, watch the competition live. If they are selling out tickets and, you know, selling out shows, then 100% the women will get more opportunities.
Rogue are
If
the
you don't
only
go and support them, then they won't get those
Yeah,
opportunities.
and Rogue are the only company that can afford that sort of investment without any expectation of return. Giants Live isn't anywhere near that sort of scale, and it would be a bad business decision, I think personally, because it would cost twice as much to run each show.
Yeah. So if you want to see more of the women, this is not to Sam, this is to anyone that wants to watch the women.
Buy a ticket and go and watch them.
Support them.
Yeah, or at least buy the live stream and make sure you tune in.
Yeah.
Eric, thank you for the super chat. Mitch, you seem to be good at all sports, including long drive competitions. What other strongmen do you think could hang with you in a long drive competition? I think that would be fun to watch.
No, nobody would be close.
Ooh.
How far can you drive?
My best on a simulator, which is the most accurate way to measure, is 403 yards in a competition, and that's in a fairway.
Yeah. The
best from Rogue, because there was a golf simulator there, the best guy was Tom, who hit like 305.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking 100 yards. It's not on the same planet.
Happy Gilmore went over 400, didn't he?
Happy Gilmore did. But I have it's like a lot of things. I learned it as a kid, and so I can just pick up a club and just play. I wasn't willing to swing a driver because it messes up my back a bit, but we set the hole to 160 meters, which is a pretty ordinary length of a par 3. Short if you play from the back, but I picked up a club that I'd never picked up before. That was not the right club to hit. And I went 5 meters, 4 meters, 3 meters to the pin on my first 3 shots. If you care about golf, then that's impressive. If you don't care about golf, just recognize that if you played it as a kid, that coordination is something that is extremely difficult to pick up as an adult. That being said, I genuinely believe I could win a world championship in long drive golf as well. I would just have to lose a bit of weight and train a bit more. And so I don't think it would be all that competitive.
There you go. Jiminy Crickets, thank you. Will Jim Santa be coming back to challenge gym goers this year?
No, that video fell so flat. No one really enjoyed it. So.
Only Mitch enjoyed it.
No, I'm not a big costume guy.
Poor Mitch.
I'll have to
Last dressed as Santa once.
Yeah.
In 2020, when all of like the Santa's grottos and everything were cancelled. So I had invested. I had the foresight in August to order like a professional quality Santa outfit. So he dressed up as Santa, and we walked around the whole neighborhood giving out sweets to kids.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was
That's
really
lovely.
nice, really
That's
special,
so
because
nice.
none of the kids got to meet Santa that year.
Someone asked if we were going to do it again.
We're like, no, F off. Go to a grotto. They're open now. Jake, thank you for the super chat. Good evening, guys. Do you have any advice for avoiding injury when you return to lifting after a long break and your strength comes back very fast? Congratulations on another great win, Mitch.
I think it's important not to try and allow yourself, like in terms of programming, try not to get back to your PBs right away. You have to kind of almost think of yourself starting afresh after coming back from an injury, and you can get strong quickly, but that's one of the worst things you can do. Almost hold yourself back for a little bit. It's not to say that strength won't come back, but it's more the tendons and ligaments that take a bit more time. So you just have to condition your body. So I think I've seen so many people, how do I get back in like 4 weeks? Don't. There's always another competition. Just give yourself that little bit longer. Allow yourself to come back, and then that confidence will grow, and you'll be better. But just don't rush it.
Sorry. This is nice. Lovely to meet you all at Rogue. Mitch, you were very patient and kind.
Thank you. Yeah, I've spoken about this a couple of times. I suppose it's a new audience, so I'll say it again. I had to say no to more people this weekend than I've ever had to before. And sometimes people don't understand that if there's a large group of people, even if you're the only one who sees me and wants something, and you just want something quick, a quick selfie, whatever, as soon as I would stop, everyone else would see that I'm starting to take selfies or sign stuff. And it happened multiple times where just a natural queue started forming.
Yeah.
And it really does get overwhelming. I'm a human being, Law's a human being, Thor's a human being. It gets really difficult. And for example, I was on the Rogue Iron Games just on the live stream, and I was there for about an hour. And when I went to leave, there was a queue of about 30 or 40 people waiting to meet me, but I had to run straight off to do an obligation with a sponsor.
Yeah.
And it's a really difficult thing to manage, but I have the utmost respect for Strongman fans, because they invest money that is not easy to come by right now, and it's not easy to decide where to spend it, and whether it's on going to a competition or merch or programs or lifting equipment or however you support the Strongman community. It's not easy. It's really not easy. And we need you guys to hold on, and hopefully the economy gets a bit better and it gets a bit easier to spend the money. But being available to Strongman fans is one of the things that sets Strongman apart from other sports in a positive way. And I want to keep that going. But as I get more and more popular, it sort of has to be a more structured type of environment. So I'm really happy that you had a positive interaction. It sucks. I'm sure there's people who are a bit upset with me that all I wanted is a signed T-shirt and he wouldn't do it. But if you just understand the context and why, maybe it's on me, and I have to think of more ways to be available in a structured setting.
And it's not you. It's hard because you see people start to come and you think, oh God, I'm going to lose an hour. And I have to be.
I genuinely don't think it would stop.
No, and also saying no never. It comes with a huge dose of guilt, doesn't it? You don't want to do that.
I know you hate. I hate it, but sometimes for me,
you feel so guilty.
I'm trying to get to the commentary booth.
Yeah.
And I know if one person stops me, then a queue forms. Yeah. So sometimes it's head down, and I'm kind of just, and maybe Rogue have to think about an escort for the athletes like Thor.
Maybe,
these really popular ones.
But I also feel like a bit of a dick having an escort.
I know.
But generally, just so you guys know, the escort is not showing us where to go. The escort's job is to just stop people and say no, so that we don't have to, because we do feel bad and we do want to be able to engage with you and speak with you. So
on the Sunday, we tried to make a bit more effort, didn't we?
Yeah, we just went into the vendor village and made ourselves available. Yeah.
And that's great. And if there's times like that you don't have to be there, it's absolutely fine. Yeah. The worst one, I was telling you guys the other day, someone actually was trying to ask me for a photo or a signature while I was going out for an event.
Oh,
and
God,
I was focused. I was solely focused on my event. I ignored him when he did my event. Later on, he's giving me abuse online.
Yeah.
And I was like, would you ask a goalkeeper for a signature while he's on the pitch?
No.
There's a time and a place. And it's never that we don't want to do it. I think all of us are so grateful that we have so many Strongman fans now. And it's just incredible that we're at these events.
Yeah.
As a person, I would just so much rather selling tickets to have dinner with me and just have a dinner with 6 people where you can actually get to know me and I can talk to you and what makes you excited and what drives you and what makes you happy, and you can
this short, slightly awkward.
We should have sold a special ticket to come and join us for our carpool karaoke yesterday. The 3 of us just singing along to some random.
I actually recorded some
Did you?
Of that, and I thought I'm not going to post it. I want to hear it back, and I thought, oh my God, it's like cats howling.
It was fun though. It was fun.
Very private, only fans. Right, let's try and mop up. Opinions. Thank you for the super chat, barbells and battlefields. Opinions on the buzzer for Rogue. My girlfriend and I are not fans. Really like some new things Rogue has been doing, and really despise others. Despise is a strong word. I really need a wee.
You go for a wee.
I'm going to go that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're probably better off going that way.
Oh, I'm this way now.
I think we've spoken about this. I know you spoke about this earlier on your live. We've already kind of covered this one a little bit earlier.
The wrong way.
I certainly didn't despise it. I kind of enjoyed it, if I'm honest. I thought it was a cool addition. It allowed athletes to be in control of a certain factor, which is your time finishing, rather than relying on a referee or someone else with a stopwatch. And it's such a small, minor thing, I think. I've seen so many comments about it, and to me, it just seems so small.
Yeah, there's certainly too much chat about it for how nothing it is and how it didn't affect anyone negatively, and it gives a really nice concrete end to the event. Say power stairs. We were told there's a 10-second penalty if the power stair implement is on the tape at all. No, we're not going to shout at you. You make sure it's not on the tape. If you hit the buzzer and it's on the tape, 10-second penalty. But then you hit the buzzer, all the fans know you're done. If you get the penalty after, you get the penalty. But, I'm a fan of keeping it in. I don't see any problem with keeping it in whatsoever.
No, it is such a minor thing, I think. But, I mean, I think often when something's new, people do get upset about things, but they almost get used to it very quickly as well.
Yeah.
And I think if we saw it in a few competitions, we'd all be like, it's just standard strongman now.
And if you introduce something for the first time and it's new like that, and it didn't cost anyone a single point all competition, it's pretty good evidence that it really didn't take away anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Nicole loved watching the camaraderie between the women and Inez's answer to how she was going to celebrate with her win. Yeah, that was so funny. And I think rightly so. You know, such an amazing opportunity for Inez and to take the win there. It's life-changing for her. So I'm sure she had a good night. There's a good question. I wondered this. Yeah. Why didn't it kind of look stupid you in the middle of Thor and Tom being the smallest guy?
Yeah.
Why do you think there wasn't a podium for you guys? Because there was for the CrossFit on the Sunday.
They've never had it for the strongmen. They have so much going on logistically with their staff members and volunteers and where they store equipment and how things are organized. In the grand scheme of things, maybe I have a tainted view because I've been privileged to be on quite a number of podiums, but it's such a small thing at the very end of the show. I don't see it as a major. Would I prefer it to be there than not? Absolutely. But when you consider everything they're doing on aggregate, I don't think it's something that's worth giving them a hard time over. There are things, by the way, we've defended a lot of things. There are things that I think I would like to be improved for sure. But I don't think that's a real huge consideration for me. And Liz has decided to go the same way that caused trouble last time.
Well, is that a climb over you, which seems more inappropriate?
I just want to get it out of the way. But anyway, I think it's just logistics. They had one podium. I'm sure it was tucked in the back corner. And in the end, it still is. CrossFit is the main event, and Strongman, we should be happy to be there. And we are partially subsidized by the fans of CrossFit and the attention that CrossFit gets.
I'm so happy that after last year, Rogue stayed involved in Strongman.
Yeah, I was worried that everyone was going to scare them off with the criticism because it was pretty harsh at times, wasn't it?
It was over the top.
And I think, I agree. I think there should be a podium, but it's a very small thing that can be changed pretty easily.
I was glad they televised it this time because that's the first time. Before, the fans have always missed the podium. It's not actually been part of the stream. Yeah.
Toby, Loz, our Bulgarian split squat sets of 20 leg extensions, sets of 20 leg curls to test my mental fortitude because I waddled out of the gym like I shat myself.
I too would like to know this.
Well, slightly, but also you need a lot of leg endurance for strongman as well. So we are testing that mental fortitude, but also conditioning that lower body to cope with carrying things for distance, truck pulls. A lot of strongman. The big difference between strongman and powerlifting is the endurance side of things. Yeah. Powerlifting is all about one lift, very powerful for one rep, whereas in strongman, there are so many tests that are going to require a lot more strength endurance as well as top end power.
Yeah. Let's try and wrap up now because we've been on well over an hour. It's been a much busier stream than usual.
Yeah, thank you all.
So a lot more super chats
for joining us. We'll get through the super chats.
Yeah, we would usually try and hit a lot more comments, but we never want to ignore a super chat. So Ronan with the members comment, thank you. Mitch, how many comps have you lined up before World's Strongest Man?
Really, there's no invitations that have gone out yet, but I will accept an invitation to the Arnold, and I would accept an invitation to the Arnold UK.
There you go. Lovely. Go on, Lars, you can click. Photon, thank you for the super chat. Mitch, love your sportsmanship. It's great to see, particularly your public support of Tom while the internet's been a bit awful to him lately. Lift heavy, be kind.
Yeah, no, and that's totally genuine. When the camera shuts off and I have private conversations, those are my honest, true feelings. I want Thor's pressing back. I want Tom to be motivated and happy. I want everyone to do their best. And if that means that I come third in a show, then I come third and I need to get better. But you don't want. I don't wish misfortune upon anyone.
You want to beat the other guys at their best.
Yeah, and at their best, one, but two, you have a sense of understanding when you put yourself through such hell, and other guys are as well. That I have a sore spot when guys get injured or they just are mentally not in a good place or something like that because. I relate to them in ways, and you relate to them in the training and whatnot, and. It's like it's not a family member, it's not a friend, it's very different. But I really don't wish bad upon anyone, and I think some guys are making good choices for 2025 to turn out really exciting.
Yeah. Kelly, thank you so much for the members comment. Congrats, Mitch. Nice way to end the year.
Yeah,
very
amazing
nice.
year.
Nice to end on a high.
Mhm.
Dalton, thank you for the super chat. Speed golf, but on a putt-putt course with a yoke in between. Thoughts?
Sold.
We did putt-putt again in Glasgow, didn't we? Who won? Was it you?
Yeah, it was Mitch.
Photon jump with the members comment. How do we attract bigger shows to Australia?
Come closer
Move
to the
the
rest
island.
of us.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that's the biggest barrier for Australia.
Sometimes it
How
just
far
takes
away?
a person, though. You know,
Yeah.
Mason tried,
Yeah.
but it just wasn't viable. They had the Arnold's Australia for quite a while, and that was
They
a big
did.
show.
Yeah.
There's a lot of strongman fans in Australia. He ran that show in the middle of absolutely nowhere, so
And
it was
people
very hard
came.
even for national people to come, and some people still came.
Yeah.
You know, it's
I think it's bigger than it was for sure in Australia. Strongman now is bigger,
Yeah.
probably bigger than it's ever been.
yeah, I
It
think
just
so.
needs to keep
I
growing.
think so.
Simon, thank you for the super chat. You guys have impacted my life more than you'll ever know, both mentally with my autism and physically. Just did 6 reps on a 90-kilo ball, kind of like an Atlas stone, thanks to Mitch's technique videos. Oh, that's
Awesome.
really nice, isn't it?
Great to hear.
Good work.
Well done. Beesmus, thank you for the super chat. Mitch, Packers predictions for the second half.
I think we're better than all the horrible teams and not as good as all the great teams. I think we are in for a loss in the potentially second round of the playoffs. Funny enough, Jordan Love is being outplayed by his backup. So maybe, I don't know. I'm not impressed with him. He's given the ball away a lot. But we're not going to win the Super Bowl, but I think we'll make the playoffs.
Jane, fond memories of meeting Mitch in a pub in Cardiff.
Yeah, that was my first. Jane was sort of my first fan that I ever met. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
What a good fan to meet.
Yeah, Jane's good egg. Liz should get septum pit. I really should.
Why'd you click on that?
It just made me
Anything about me,
laugh.
clicks on.
Not true. I've seen a lot worse to click on.
That's too batty. Thank you for the super chat. Wanted to thank you, Mitch, for motivating me to weight loss from 190 to 160 kilos in the
Amazing.
last 11 months. You've saved my
That
life.
is
Much love, Lost
fantastic.
Liz.
Great
Wow.
work. Great work.
That's
I've
awesome.
gained so much sympathy for people who are overweight and struggle with food because you're just set so far behind the 8 ball with all the pressures from marketing and all the options out there. It takes a lot of discipline to do that. So very well done.
Yeah, brilliant.
Helen with the members comment. Thanks for everything. Loved the weekend. Thank you, Helen, and thank you for joining us tonight. Eric, thank you for the super chat. Of all the sports that exist, strongman and strongwoman is one of my favorites because of the athletes. They all seem like the kind of people you'd like to hang out with and have a beer. Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. Very normal people.
They are. Yeah, very
Apart
much so.
from Mitch.
Thank you very much, Eric.
Elijah, thank you for the super chat. Congrats on the win. Advice for finding a good weight range to start with for beginners, thinking of people with high strength and weak soft tissue.
That doesn't really happen. Your soft tissue will follow your muscles. It just lags behind. So you're not going to have someone naturally super strong with naturally really weak tendons. And frankly, you don't know. You don't know until you try. But the most reasonable thing is just when you start, your effort level shouldn't exceed, say, a 7 for the first little while. Just hone in your technique and make sure you're not over-relying on one area over another. But there's no starting weight guideline. There's no...
I just avoid like singles at that point.
No.
Yeah, I'd work a bit more on reps.
Because there's such little practice you get when doing one rep.
Yeah.
Adam, is that? Thank you for the super chat, Adam. Did the buzzer actually stop the timer though? Because there was a guy with a stopwatch timing event 4.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like a secondary backup timer.
So like when
in case
Mitch did the arm over arm and hit the buzzer, the timer stopped, but the referees had their own timers as well.
Yeah.
And that's how they kind of got his time on that particular event. Oh my goodness.
Would
Look at
have
this.
preferred the buzzer time.
Oh, wow. Anthony,
Anthony.
that's an incredible super chat. Thank you so much.
Bless you. Since I have all 3 of you that rate, I am planning on starting a podcast interviewing strength athletes about mental health and wellness. World's strongest psychologist. I'd like your permission to contact you as possible interviews. Please, in the US, by the way.
Absolutely. I mean,
For that super chat, Loz will definitely go on.
Yeah,
This
indeed.
isn't Mitch's channel. He doesn't benefit.
Do you know, like, I was actually speaking to someone today about the mental health side of things. Lady in the UK, Julia Mills, passed away this week, and a lot of that is dealing with the mental issues of competing, suffering with injuries, depression from training, and I think it's probably an area someone like myself can help a lot of people with, because I have suffered the depression. I mean, Mitch has as well. I've suffered the injuries, the kind of questioning what you're going to do with your life and stuff like that. And it's something that does need to be addressed. So absolutely, if you message me on Instagram, we will sort something out, Anthony. And once again, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Anthony. It's very kind.
Yeah, and look, permission from me for anyone to contact me about anything. Yeah, it's if I get back, I do my best to get back to people, but you never need permission to reach out.
Helen, thank you for the super chat. My favorite moment was Lucy congratulating Andrea on her deadlift.
Really cool moment, yeah. Andrea's deadlift was awesome, and Lucy and her are such good friends.
They are.
Can I have a counterpoint to that?
Sure.
Oh.
If it's like, I totally get it if it's after the show or after the event, but there's an edge taken off from me when Lucy then has to go pull a bigger number. That's not just a given for her.
No,
and they're literally hugging, embracing, jumping up and down. I find it takes the intensity totally away. It takes the edge off for me.
I don't think if I was Lucy, I then could have gone and done that. Like if I'd celebrated with her, I'd be like,
I said on commentary, like a lot of the reaction the women make. I was like, you won't get Evan Singleton or Mitch Hooper like this.
But do you know what? So say like Thor, I was done deadlifting.
Yeah.
I knew I was done deadlifting. I stood and watched. I'm so happy for him to do it, 100%.
But you wouldn't want to go out and lift.
Fail.
Yeah.
But if I had to go lift something after,
you wouldn't be celebrating.
No,
you could keep
Focus
yourself
would be
in the
much
zone.
higher, absolutely.
Of course. No, I do get that.
The women are a different breed to the men.
Here you go, Mitch.
Kieran, thank you for the super chat. Mitch, would you ever go into arm wrestling?
No.
After his exposure to it today, absolutely not. No interest.
Right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's been fun talking to you all. It's been awesome, obviously, having Mitch down here with us. We best get him back to the hotel, and you need an early night.
Yeah.
Early start tomorrow. But yes, we'll be back Sunday night. Next week, I should imagine.
Yeah, this week.
We've got a few videos going up this week as well, a couple of members videos. So thank you for those of you that become members. Have an amazing week. There is still the Magnuson Classic to happen this year and OSG. So still some good stuff to come. This man can take a little bit of a break from competition. He's going to be back next year working extremely hard. You guys take care. We will catch you soon.
You have to press the button, Lars. It doesn't press itself.
Well, we've got to wave first.
Well, we'll wave.
Wave, Auntie Liz.